it's not gonna happen
but yeah,
when
you
I
might
ODA.
already been appointed somewhere else to do any of that work, because then that's gonna allow you not use these funds for those students.
Mr. Davis is online.
Okay, awesome.
We're good.
Not well, he has to be a member today.
So, good morning. The September 19th, 2023 meeting of the Charter Authorizing Panel is called to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Department of Education and ask that you please silence all your electronic devices. The goal is to facilitate a fair and responsible hearing, so therefore I ask that each person speaking please state your name and title for the record. I ask that you continue to speak clearly into the microphone throughout your presentation for the benefit of the panel, this audience, and the viewing audience. This meeting is being All right, good morning. Good morning to our panel, and I believe Mr. Davis is online. We have a consent agenda before us today. If there are no questions, then I'll accept a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Davis, I'm not sure if we can hear you.
We can't see.
here we go. So we'll try that one more time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Did anybody see Mr. Davis's vote? I don't think we could hear him.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Mr. Davis?
Doesn't seem like it.
We're not able to hear you just yet. I know he's saying something.
I know he was saying something. Could he text you his vote?
Could we, if we could put him back up on the screen, what I can do is ask him to give me a thumbs up if that's a. Mr. Dave, there we go. There we go. All right, thank you very much. The motion passes.
No, we
All
can't
right.
hear you.
So, Ms. Haywood, if you'd like to come forward.
Good morning. My name is Kaylee Haywood, and I am a representative from Legal Services with DESE. And today I'm just going to review our general operating procedures for the action agenda. As I'm sure you all already know, the applicant charter school will get 20 minutes to present their side, and if there are any opposing sides, they will get 20 minutes to present their opposition. And then if there is any opposition, the applicant charter will then get 5 minutes to respond to that opposition. And so I think if you want to just swear in anyone who plans to present today, then we are good to begin. And first on our action agenda today, we have the consideration of Responsive Ed Arkansas Premier High Schools, North Little Rock and Premier High Schools Springdale Charter Schools are specifically requesting to waive Arkansas Code Annotated 617-2403 F2AI concerning utilizing an amount of state funds equal to 80% or more of the amount allocated for school level personnel salaries in order to qualify for additional teacher compensation funds under the LEARNS Act. And so that is what's first on our agenda. If you want to get everyone sworn in, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All those who are planning on speaking on behalf of the charter, if you'd please stand, raise your right hand. All right, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We do.
All right, thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Dennis Felton Jr. I serve as the State Director of Premier High Schools of Arkansas. So this presentation that I have up is actually for the next agenda item. And so if it's okay with the panel, I just wanted to kind of talk through, I guess, our rationale. If you remember House Bill 1795, and which required schools to spend 80% allocate 80% to school level personnel salaries, and in that legislation, it also gives a charter the ability to be able to waive it if it would negatively impact the student safety, the physical stability, or education programs offered by the school. And so if you've had a chance to look in your packet, we've submitted a couple scenarios within our budget. One shows you what does it look like with the LEARNS funding, and then what the scenario looks like without the LEARNS funding. And so we think that's evident that it would impact our physical stability as well as the offer of the education programs that we're trying to do at Premier High School. Other than that, I'll entertain any questions or.
Any questions, Dr. Wright McMurray? Ms. Saraceni?
No, ma'am, sorry.
Mr. Davis? Mr. Kim Davis?
Looks like he's muted.
Oh, we think you're muted on your end.
Can you hear us?
So he can't hear us either. Can we, gonna put it in the chat and see if he can.
Rodney Ford just said he can't hear the panel.
Oh, can't hear the panel. So,
Audio's in and out. That's what the comments we're getting from
Yeah.
was on Zoom.
it's stating they're getting audio in and out on the Zoom.
Even though they're not saying anything, but
Yeah. Mr. Davis, can you say something?
he says that he can't hear us.
Mr. Davis says he can't hear us. Test, test. Testing, test, test. 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Great.
Are you saying anything right now?
No, we're
Not
not.
at this particular moment.
Okay, it's going in and out. It's a bit muddled, but it appears to be better.
So did you have any questions for Mr. Felton?
I do not.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval of the amendment request. I second.
So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right. Next item.
All righty. Once again, I'm Dennis Felton, serve as the State Director of Premier High Schools. We appreciate you all hearing us this morning. As always, I guarantee you.
Is it on the side? Doesn't look like it had it. Oh, there you go. Let's try it again, see what happens. No? Yeah.
Do we have to do the voting sheets on?
All right. As always, I'm blessed to have my team here, Responsive Ed, Arkansas, and be able to support our schools and our day-to-day operations. Just to cover the two things that we're talking about today, one amendment request is to add additional Premier High School campus in Russellville, Arkansas, and Fayetteville, Arkansas. And then as a result of that expansion, being able to increase our enrollment cap from 975 to 1225 to reflect that expansion. At Premier High School, we continue to have a mission to provide hope to a group of students through a caring, mastery-based learning environment that promotes a free society and cultivates moral and academic excellence. Just reminding those that are familiar with Premier High Schools or new to Premier High Schools who we serve, and it's students that's seeking, a personalized learning environment. Students who have already either become disengaged at the current high school or who dropped out of high school or are at risk of dropping out of high school. We also see a trend of students who are working full-time, part-time to support their home, as well as students who are already parents and have children of their own and need the flexibility. And so as we continue to think about it, you may wonder, why do we continue to expand and exist? And one of the things that we want to continue to do as a recognized best practice of personalized learning in Arkansas is to continue to increase our impact across the state. As a result, we like to think that this decreases the dropout rate in communities as well as increases the graduation rate in the communities that we serve. Ultimately, as Responsive Ed, we like to think that we're being responsive to our parents and students and the needs of those communities and just trying to replicate some of these best practices in Premier High School that we see in the communities that we already exist. And most of all, Premier High School serves all. So if you think about right now, we're currently operating in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Springdale, Fort Smith, Texarkana, and Premier High School online. We're seeking to expand in Premier High School Russellville as well as Premier High School Fayetteville. So when you look at the district structure of Premier High Schools of Arkansas, currently there are 4 schools under that district. With the addition of Premier High School, Russellville, and Fayetteville, they would add 2 additional campuses to that district, which would total 6 campuses. If you look at the enrollment cap breakdown, if you remember, I was with you all a few months ago, and we cut those caps down to make it a little bit more realistic to the school size. And so we've continued to increase our enrollment. So I made this slide in particular because if you look at your enrollment packet, when I submitted this amendment just over 35 days ago, there were 422 students served in this district. And just note, this doesn't include the 2 other Premier High Schools. And then within 35 days, we've already seen almost 100 more students enroll in our schools. And so I thought that was pretty cool to show you all that even though I submitted this 35 days ago, we still to continue to see interest in Premier High School in the communities across Arkansas. So if you're looking at the proposed breakdown, we've just added Fayetteville with 175 and added Russellville with 75 to our enrollment cap that gives us a total of 1225. That just kind of shows you a timeline on the expansions. We're excited. We're celebrating 10 years here in Arkansas and being able to make an impact of students. And you see over the years how we've been able to continue to expand our mission and vision by making impact in more and more communities in Arkansas. And so if you remember, I come to you all a couple of years ago, we started this 5-year plan that we wrote in our federal CSP application to be able to add these at campuses and opportunity zones in Arkansas. And so when we're sitting here talking about Russellville and Fayetteville, that is just the continuation of that plan to expand in Arkansas. And so the cool thing about it, we like to think that we're continuing to spread our impact and our mission and vision to touch different communities in Arkansas as we grow and expand. One small note, we're currently serving over 700 students across the state of Arkansas, and with this expansion, maybe I'm being optimistic, Bradford, but I like to think that we'll be impacting 1,000 students within the next year. So we look at just going back on our 22-23 school year, we were blessed to be able to award 129 high school diplomas to students who otherwise may not even had that opportunity. We continue to be able to serve students who have previously dropped out of high school. We're excited about the CTE partnerships we have in which students are earning industry-based certifications. We implemented JAG in a couple of our schools last year, piloting, and been excited about seeing the results that we're seeing from JAG, as well as work-based learning. And then those of you familiar with our charter know that community service learning hours is a requirement of our charter, and so we're continuing to see students serve their community and give back in the communities that they live in. And one of the highlights for me this past May was being able to attend 6 Premier High School graduations, and when I did my guesstimate of how many families were there, it was over 1,800 families within those 6 graduations, which I think speaks volumes to the work that we do in the communities. Looking at the schools in review, Little Rock graduated 14 students. We also implemented not only JAG, but a drone program there, as well as partnered with a cosmetology school. That school was also participating in the peer grant student growth program that's authorized and governed by the state of Arkansas, in which basically the school set NWA MAP reading and math goals, and the school had to meet those goals in order to receive the peer grant funding. So we're excited that North Little Rock and Little Rock were able to participate in that program and demonstrate those gains. Fort Smith, first operation last year, graduated 20 students, and we're excited about our partnership with the Peak Center and Fort Smith Public Schools, as well as University of Arkansas Fort Smith. Texarkana in this first year of operation last year graduated 6 students, and we're excited about our partnership there with the University of Arkansas Hope, Texarkana, and our JAG implementation. Premier High School Online, which launched last year, we graduated 37 students. Our Springdale campus, we graduated 21. We implemented the work-based implementation there, and then we're excited about the 23-24 school year because we've just partnered with the East Initiative, and we're offering the East program at our Springdale campus. And then our North Little Rock campus, we graduated 31 students, and we implemented JAG, and I spoke to what we did with the peer grant and NWA MAP scores. And so one of the things that I kind of summing up our success, we're excited we're seeing improvements in student engagement and attendance, because we know students, the more they're at school, the better their attendance, the better we see the improvement on outcomes. We've talked about the NWA MAP growth, which we seen last year, as well as we're proud of our state assessment participation. If you guys remember, I guess this time last year, we were here, Dr. Sullivan, you a person that was leading that team, and there was concerns about our participation in the state assessment, and we're excited about seeing those results come out. We have schools that hit 100% this year, and the rest of the schools were in the 90th percentile. So we like to think, and I would thank this team as well as the principals in the building and the staff, that they worked hard to meet those goals. And then we continue to brag about our community partners, our CT partnerships and higher ed partnerships we'll continue to explore. And so thinking about these satellite campuses that we are opening, just kind of letting you know that we continue to offer our CT opportunities, and we continue to serve breakfast and lunch daily. We're finding out students in these communities like the smaller high school. They like the personalized learning approach. We've complemented that with even going to the next level. Okay, how do we do innovative? What about the students who have jobs? What about the students who are looking for more flexibility? And so we've challenged ourselves on school start times, and so some students that need to come into school later in the day who are older, we've opened that opportunity. We noticed there's a trend of students who are working after hours, and so we got teachers and engagement specialists that are working after hours to be able to support students who are no longer at the school or at home learning. Just reminding you again, I talked to you a couple of years ago about Premier 2.0, and continue this plan and adding a school in Russellville and Fayetteville is continuing that vision of Premier 2.0. We're trying to continue to improve, sustain a high-quality school model. We want to continue to improve student outcomes by improving the student's experience. We want to continue to offer personalized learning with live instruction, that post-secondary support, talking about what they're going to do after high school, start making those plans for after high school, offer concurrent credit opportunities through our partnership with Arkansas Tech, as well as the mini semester, which essentially is summer school, giving students opportunity to earn those credits that they hadn't earned or to get called back up to graduate on time. I've talked about kind of the EAST program, the JAG program we've implemented. We're still committed to providing our staff with high quality professional development, building leadership capacity, as well as growing and building our teachers as well. And so I didn't mention it, but part of that peer grant also gives us the opportunity to be able to have resources to recruit teachers. At the same time, we have resources to be able to empower them to put teachers in leadership roles and get them leadership opportunities. So why Fayetteville, why Russellville? Parent interest is still high in Premier High School. If you know, we have a campus in Springdale, so the word gets out about what's going on in Springdale, as well as the other communities that we serve. And so we want to continue to find our niche and reach this forgotten population of students who have given up on public education, who have given up on the idea of earning a high school diploma, and provide them with something that's small, something that's personalized, something that's geared towards their strengths and weaknesses, and that's providing the services and the support that those students need in order to be successful. We anticipate, we've had conversations with Arkansas Tech, University of Arkansas, NWAC, as well as we're seeking to be able to partner with Fayetteville Public Schools as well as Russellville School District. And so you kind of see in the comparison, when students are kind of making some of these choices, and you're looking at a school that has 80 or 100 students and compare it to the bigger high school, you know, ultimately, these students and parents are seeking something that's more innovative, that's something that's personalized and small. And so the parents do enjoy, the staff knows the student's name. The students know all the staff name. The parent knows who to contact as far as the campus principal goes and has that direct connection and correlation. And so once again, these communities have been identified by the federal government as opportunity zones. And so we want to be able to not only stimulate the economy in these areas by providing education opportunities and employment opportunities, but be able to kind of bridge those gaps in some of these students that are falling through the cracks. Potential partners in Russellville, we're excited about Arkansas Tech and been visiting with their career center and offering some CT courses and pathways through them. We work hand in hand in Russellville and Fayetteville, already having conversations with the individuals who are in the juvenile justice system. For those who know, we work hand in hand with your judges, your probation officers, as well as your truancy officers to be able to identify this population of students that we serve. Similar in Fayetteville, if you're familiar with our Springdale campus, we already partner with Northwest Technical Institute to be able to provide CT courses and industry-based certifications, and so we continue to want to grow that. We continue to want to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce, and that way we're a part of that business community as well as a nonprofit being able to spread our mission and vision amongst the community as well. So we've been excited about the meetings we've had with those individuals in the community, and as they learn about us, some of them were a little bit familiar about us already, but they learn more about our plans. It's very encouraging when you go and have these conversations with these individuals to find out their needs in their community. And then how do they see a Premier High School benefit? And so long term, I'll see you guys here in about 4 months for our renewal for North Little Rock. We do plan on adding North Little Rock to Premier High Schools of Arkansas District. And then we're here today talking about adding the 2 campuses for next year. And then we do still have the outstanding campus with Springdale, which will eventually merge in this district as well. And so you kind of see here, I have a vision. I see we'll be operating 10 Premier High Schools by 2028 and having an impact between 1,500 to 1,600 students. And so long-term goal, we just want to continue to partner partner with the community, partner with school districts, partner with the state, as well as continue to strive to meet all of our charter goals as outlined in the charter application. We want to provide quality, assurance, and adequate support for all of our schools located in Arkansas. We'll let you know that whereas we did not build this in our budget, these two schools are supported by a plan we submitted to the federal government, and we've been awarded $1.4 million to open up both of these schools that have been identified in these opportunity zones. And so, as you'll kind of see in your packet, we are actively engaged right now with kind of working out some leases and potential sites for the school campus. And so just kind of give you the timeline on what we plan to do. Just for the record, just know whatever site we do choose, we will come back before you. You will approve that site when we have that lease fully executed. And so we plan to spend the next 10 months preparing the school facility and getting things ready for the first day of school. Ultimately, this benefits parents, students, and the community. It's not about us. It's about being responsive to families in the state of Arkansas that want this model. It's about being responsive to students in the state of Arkansas who need this model. And so I'll wrap this all up in saying, y'all, it's been 10 years. And it's been a fun ride. We continue to be able to grow across the state. We continue to be able to see the impact that we're having across this state. And so whereas I remember just 10 years ago, we graduated our first 10 kids here in Arkansas. And I spoke to you all about graduating over 130 kids this past spring and anticipating graduating over 300 students this upcoming May. Premier High School, we want to continue to spread our mission and vision and continue to make our impact. And so, summing it all back up, we're seeking to add a campus in Russellville, a campus in Fayetteville, and increase the enrollment cap to support that expansion. At Premier High School, we continue to keep students at the front of our mind, and everything we do is geared around the success of students and aiming to be responsive to the needs of the Arkansas communities.
Thank you very much. Any questions, Dr. Reichenhart?
Sorry. Thank you for your presentation and the additional information. A couple of mine were answered as you went through. First question, I kind of wanted to go back to the anticipated enrollment increases that you're having, and then you showed the slide of the number of students that are in Fayetteville, the number of students that are in Russellville, and then where you feel like you'll carve out your group of students. What's guiding you to those numbers?
Typically, so we've been doing this 10 years in Arkansas, and so when I look at my historical data, when I look at my high school and I look at the 9 through 12 high school enrollment within the community, typically it looks like premiers represent about 3 to 3.2%. And so there are some communities that's a little bit, it's a little higher. So when I think about like a Texarkana community, Texarkana has about 1,100 kids. And so we're higher up towards your 4% in that community. And so when you look at Russellville, kind of run those numbers, you hang around 50 to 60. When you're in Fayetteville, you run those numbers, you hang around 90. But I'll tell you this, you know, we opened up those schools last year, and those schools are already almost getting closer to 100. And so I think a lot of it too is people are being recognizing the work that we're doing, and so they're, you know, word of mouth. We're seeing more traction. So that's kind of how we, I guess, guesstimate not having the school open, going off historical data and the interest that we see in the other communities.
Okay, thank you. And then next question that kind of came up, and this is just a clarifying question to something you mentioned. And so you're up for renewal in 4 months on your which campus?
This is Premier High School of North Little Rock.
Okay, and you said you're going to fold that into your Little Rock district?
I'm going to add this to I'm going to add that campus to Premier High Schools Arkansas charter. Basically, I'm trying to consolidate them all. So I'll get North Little Rock in, and then next year I'm going to try to get Springdale in. And so in a year and a half, all of the Premier High Schools will be under one district, which I know these guys are not going to complain about. We operate 3 separate school districts right now, so you can imagine the work that involves.
So if this application is approved, these two additional schools, will they be a part of this?
Premier High Schools of Arkansas, that is
Okay, so you're
correct.
not gonna have to come back and then ask for those to be folded in at a later
I
date?
will not.
Okay.
I'm trying to save y'all some votes.
Okay. And then last question. So on one of your slides, you mentioned that you have JAG programs on the Hope and Fort Smith campus. Is that something that you're anticipating doing, or are you guys already operating those programs?
So last year we piloted Little Rock and North Little Rock. This year we're piloting Fort Smith and Texarkana. And so yes, the plan would be we would try to implement JAG in Russellville and Fayetteville as well.
But you said as of right now, you are operating your Hope and Fort Smith
We
campuses.
are. We're currently offering it right now.
Okay.
Ms. Saraceni?
Thank you for your presentation. I may have missed it, but I could not find it. I know that we don't look at your student test scores, but we look at your graduation rates. So could you kind of talk to us about your graduation rates, and what are they?
I don't have that in front of me, but I'm familiar with our graduation rates enough to know that there's areas of improvement. If I talk a little about who we are, the graduation rate is based on a 4-year cohort, which means that it follows a student from 9th grade and it follows a student to 12th grade. Operating schools in Arkansas that attract students who have already been retained or dropped out of high school, somewhat to a certain degree is going to work against you when evaluating yourself on a graduation rate. And so, Ms. Saraceni, how we kind of like to look at it, it's our completers, because a lot of our students that we are graduating, they're out of their cohort, which works against us. If you think about the intervention of it, we may have a student that comes over in 9th to 10th grade to get caught back up. Well, unfortunately, the way the graduation rate is set up, we're not going to get credit for students that we're helping to get back on track that goes back to their high school to graduate with their friends. And so go ahead.
So, since you don't know that, then as I'm over at prep programs, I'm very aware of enrollment and completers for Title II. So what's your completer rate? Do you have that information?
I do not have that in front of me, but I can get that information to
I
you
would
all.
like that. Because this is so important, because these kids, this is their second chance, and we need to make sure that we get them where they need to be in the workforce. And so I just want to look at some kind of data. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. Mr. Davis?
Yes, first of all, I would agree 100% with Ms. Saraceni. It'd be great if we can get that data as part of the presentation. You mentioned, in a short period of time, you have seen significant interest, and I think you talked about over 100 students that were interested, and I'm assuming across multiple campuses. Can you dig into a little bit on why you think that is the case? It appears to be that interest is grown more than it's ever grown, and I'm interested in trying to dig into why families, or what is resonating with families that has expressed this amount of interest in your model.
Often when I talk about what we are doing, I always go back to the flexibility that we have. We are trying to be flexible with our families and students, and we know they have different challenges outside of school. Mr. Davis, when I think about the marketing aspect, you guys know I do a lot of marketing and outreach and communication, but to me that's kind of, that's the bigger picture of it. I joke with my people and say it's one thing that we can offer, or we can run an ad, or we can put a flyer out, but nobody controls how people feel that you serve. And so I'm gonna say word of mouth. I look at this data often, and I'll have people say, hey, I heard it on the radio, or I saw this ad, but nothing supersedes the word of mouth. And I like to think that when you take care of families, when you take care of students, they're gonna talk about it. They're gonna spread the word. They're gonna spread the good. And so in some of these communities, when you look at it, they don't really have a lot of options either. And so when you start thinking about hope and what does that mean to some of these families that I've been told that, I'm not being successful or this high school's not working out, then some to a certain degree you can kind of lose hope. And then when you have another option or another choice in these communities, then to me what happens is it reignites that hope. It reignites that family feeling like, okay, this is not the end of the road. We have this opportunity. And so we're blessed. We have great leaders that run our schools. We have good people that care about kids, that care about kids being successful. And to me, that's what drives the interest as well as the outcomes. Because you guys think about what I'm sitting here saying. I'm talking about kids that are not in high school, and we're trying to get them back in high school. And then let alone not just back in high school, but believing again they can earn a high school diploma. And unfortunately, y'all, these kids sometimes are on nobody's radar because they're not in school. They don't fall in the accountability. Nobody cares because they're supposed to graduated 2 years ago. And so to answer your question, Mr. Davis, I think the word of mouth and the experience that students and families are having within our schools, because I like to think that people, they vote with their feet. We're open enrollment charter, and so people are applying. They're showing interest. They want to be a part of this.
Yeah, thank you for that. There are a couple of things that I'd like to say. I think Mrs. Serafini's point in regards to the data and having that data available is even more important because you do provide such a flexible model. And it's important that we really work to ensure that that model is delivering for families. This is just me. I firmly believe that you should have data that's supported by stories, and you should have stories that's supported by data. The stories alone just doesn't get us what we need, nor does the data alone get us what we need. So it would be helpful in this presentation if we had some data, or even in your answer that you just gave, if we had some data to go ahead to support the story you just talked about. Hope and all those things are critically important, and we should always try to think about the role that that plays in helping families move forward. But at the same time, the accountability and the measures that need to be put in place is also very critical. So I just want us to, you sort of mentioned that you'll be coming before us next time. I hope to get those fantastic stories, but I hope that they're supported by data, and I hope that sometimes you lead with data and then you layer those stories on as well.
Thanks for that feedback, Mr. Davis. I will have data because I'm working on 5 tables.
Any other questions, Mr. Davis?
No other questions for me.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask
Yes.
one other? I think it may be to tell your story too that may help us and kind of give us some insight is maybe when you're talking about career and technical, maybe even the number of certifications your students are leaving with. I mean, that helps tell the story as well. That may be helpful, another piece of data.
Any other questions? If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Can we have discussion? Okay. I'm sensing that there are some members of the panel that would like to have a little bit more hard data to be able to review prior to making a decision. So I would like to gauge to see if that's the direction that we're going in, or
I would agree as far as the data is concerned, because I think it's important to have that piece to back up the story.
I would concur.
So is it possible to make a motion that we invite Premier to come back at a subsequent meeting within the next 60 days and receive the information necessary for us to make an informed decision?
Yes.
So I'd like to make that motion that we invite Premier Academy to come back within the next 60 days at a subsequent meeting and provide us with some additional information in order for us to make an informed decision.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Davis. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Saraceni. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, we're gonna, actually in full transparency, we're gonna fill out both of our voting sheets, one for the first.
Do we
First
have a
vote.
voting sheet for the second one? Or-
We should,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so we'll take a few minutes just to fill out both of those voting sheets and we'll,
I just want to, since I'm taking some notes, as far as the data requested, I got graduation rate, I got state assessment scores, completion rate. Is there any other data that the panel is requesting to review at this next hearing?
what I'd like to know is as far as, I'm looking at Premier High School of Little Rock, Premier High School of North Little Rock, and Premier High School of Springdale. There are classifications, federal classifications of CSI and MRI, and I'd just like to know what are the plans that the charter has for getting out of those classifications?
So we've been working with the state. We've also partnered with APSRC, and so we've been blessed to be able to provide a literacy specialist, as well as literacy coaches that's helping, review curriculum, make sure curriculum is aligned with the standards. We've also, we're partnering with consultants to do leadership coaching, as well as kind of drive some of these data-driven conversations. So we're looking at our state assessment score as well as our NWA map as well, and then be able to kind of work with teachers on driving lessons that's geared towards those deficiencies.
And I think by the time you come back, you'll have this year's data from the last testing cycle. So that should be able to help. The one thing that we didn't do in our motion was to determine, are we wanting to have that in the next charter authorizing panel meeting? Was that the intent, Mr. Davis?
That was my intent, or the next two panel meeting, whichever it fits from an agenda standpoint.
Okay.
The next one would be, if that's possible, that would be great.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. We'll take just a few minutes to fill out those voting sheets. Is everyone ready? Dr. Wright McMurray?
Okay.
And this is on the first vote that we took.
Okay. On the first vote, for Premier North Little Rock and Springdale, I voted for. I support the amendment request to allow implementation of the LEARNS Act.
Okay. Ms. Saraceni?
I vote to approve the waiver to ensure implementation of the LEARNS Act.
Okay. Mr. Davis?
Yes, I vote in favor of the waiver to ensure the implementation of the LEARNS Act funding.
And then I voted for to approve the waiver to ensure implementation of the LEARNS Act funding and retain teachers in the charter without creating a negative impact. All right, and then our second vote. Mr. Davis, I'll start with you.
Sure, I support the motion to invite Premier to return to the charter authorizing panel in the next 60 days to provide additional information in order to make a more informed decision.
Thank you. Ms. Saraceni?
I support the motion to invite Premier High School of Arkansas to return to the board with data to support the expansion.
And Dr. Wright McMurray?
Okay, I voted for. I support the motion to invite Premier High School to return with additional data to support the expansion request.
And then I voted for the motion to invite Premier High School of Arkansas to return with data to aid in telling the story of the charter and its contribution to the students of the state of Arkansas. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
All right, Mr. Reynolds?
Good morning, Stephen Reynolds. I'm a staff attorney with the department. So next up on the agenda, we have panel's consideration of the Pinecrest Preparatory Academy Fayetteville new open enrollment charter school application request. They submitted an application to establish a new open enrollment charter school beginning in the 2024-2025 academic year. This charter will follow the college prep education model. Do we want to do the legal review after the presentation or before?
We can do it after the presentation.
All right.
All right, well, all those who plan on speaking on behalf of the charter, please stand and raise your right hand.
We have quite a few people online.
Oh, okay.
As well.
So let's see.
They're standing up.
Okay, there we go.
Do you need to see the people that, like Richard Moreno is one of ours and Alexandra Prieto is ours?
Yes, if we could just get them on camera for just a moment.
Cross all our T's.
Yeah.
Alex?
Yeah.
We all struggle with that. It's so
Oh, yeah.
hard to find that little button for here it is.
Well, what we
Yes,
can,
if she has to speak.
yeah, we can always swear her in at that time. Okay, if you'll raise your right hand, all right. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give on behalf of the charter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, thank you very much. And you may begin your presentation.
Pinecrest.
Pinecrest.
Yeah. No problem. Technology is always the challenge, so. My name is Todd German. I am the founding board chair of Pinecrest. I'm also the chairman of Somerset Academy, which is a sister organization, been doing that for a number of years. I want to thank you guys. And it was pointed out to me the application process for this charter was quite straightforward. I mean, it's massive, but we've done this in a lot of states, and your process was quite good in our humble opinion. And we can't thank the Charter School Resource Center enough. They helped prep us with this, and their stuff was very helpful, we hope. Yeah, so I'm personally excited because for years I worked for Centennial Bank, so I have an Arkansas connection from Florida. And then I have a physician daughter in Bentonville and a little granddaughter, so this hopefully will allow me to see them even more. We have a very diverse team here today. Just about everybody on the founding board is either a principal or a board member of another charter, so we have that. Our intention would be to gradually replace that with a more local board, but we've just found you need experts to get things going. I'm going to turn it over to Carlos Alvarez and Elaine Clemente to kind of give you an idea of Pinecrest and the model. I'll let Carlos explain I'll let them explain who they are when they do it. And then hopefully we'll have a couple minutes at the end. And I kind of want to give you a feel for how we're different than most other charter schools in the country and sort of our scale and size. And I guess I was asked to be the traffic director here, so let's see if here's our thing. Carlos, why don't you come on and you and Elaine, introduce yourselves and start your presentation, and we'll try to flick the slides when necessary. And we had some travel things. They were all going to be here, so we apologize. It didn't work.
Sorry.
Thank you, Todd. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Carlos O. Alvarez, board chair and president of Pinecrest Academy, Inc. And I'm joined also by...
Hi, everybody. My name is Elaine Clemente. I am the principal of Pinecrest Academy South, down in Miami, and I'm also the Associate Director of Pinecrest Academy Inc. Network.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Graciela Garbajosa, and I'm an assistant principal at Mohia here in Florida. And I am also going to be part of this board for the school in Arkansas.
So, the vision and kind of, I'd like to start with the vision and the mission of our network, right? So our vision is that we look at every student ability to accelerate and move forward at their own individual pace. And part of our vision that encompasses and supports that is by setting high standards. And really the big part about it is supporting students through the process. And the goal is for them to not only have academic growth, but also to reach a level of achievement, right? And we know that if we reach that level of achievement, it will foster an environment of success. And very, very well written, I must say, is our mission, right? It's the acronym for what Pinecrest stands for, which is providing individual instruction in a nurturing environment, ensuring college and career readiness using the 3 R's: rigor, relevance, and relationships. We empower students to become tomorrow's global leaders. Pinecrest Academy Inc. has a track record. It's one of the 3rd largest networks within our ESP. And we've been in operations for 20 years. I remember, 20 years ago, we opened our first campus in 2000, and we had 200 students and only 8 classrooms. And from there, we've grown to 26 schools, spread out throughout 3 states, and serving over 18,000 students. Those states where students are being served are currently in the great state of Florida, Nevada, and Idaho. In your presentation, and I won't go through them all, but you will see the list of all the schools, all the Pinecrest Academy Inc. schools throughout the 3 states that we serve. We are elated about the opportunity to come into the great state of Arkansas and do some of the amazing things that we're seeing being done in these 3 current states where we serve children. I also wanted to be known that Pinecrest Academy Inc. is recognized as a high-performing system in the Florida Department of Education. With that being said, we have 2 Blue Ribbon Schools of Excellence, and I love the diversity of it because these 2 national Blue Ribbon schools are in both the state of Florida and the state of Nevada, and one being Pinecrest Academy North Campus, and the other being Pinecrest Academy Inspirado. We aim to progressively start with it's a K3, a 6, and a 9, and in the next 3 years, ramp up a grade level with the goal of by 2028, 2029, being a fully operating K-12, as it's listed in our charter application. And right, I just serve it in the capacity of the board chair. One of the things that I love and working with the team here in Florida, working with the team in Nevada, is that the structure that Pinecrest Academy has. We have the ability, and not only do we have the ability, but we make it happen, to plan at a national level. And why am I saying this, right? Like, I can see, as a new applicant coming in, and we're in different states, will Arkansas get the same support of Florida? And it's a very valid question. Will will they get the same support as Nevada? So we have annual national Pinecrest Leadership Coalition meetings. We plan professional development at a national scale. We meet quarterly to talk about educational trends, familiarize ourselves with what's happening in our different states, and really have like collegial conversations between our principals and our leadership teams about education in our states. We're very forward thinkers. We like and we enjoy sharing best practices. But what we love about that most is we get to learn from one another. We feel that no state is better than the other, but we feel as a network and as an organization, when we work together, at the end of the day, the why is for the best interest of kids, right? This is what our calling is. Sometimes people lose touch of why is it that we do what we're doing. And if we get all our colleagues involved and have conversations multiple times through the years, via Zoom, in person, about best practices, what are gonna be the outcomes, right? The outcomes are gonna be, it's gonna be better for kids. And that's why we're here, right? That's why we do what we do, because our greatest goal is to serve students at the best capacity that we can and provide every single student that we serve the quality education that they merit, both at the elementary, at the middle, and the high school level. I've had the honor to work with Ms. Clemente as an assistant principal years ago, and now life brought us back together years ago when I started serving as the board chair and the president. And I can't think of anyone better than our associate lead principal to tell you a little bit more about what our model is about, what distinguishes us from the rest, and really some of the accolades that support the model, the curriculum, the initiatives, and vice versa. So with that being said, I'll pass it to Ms. Elaine Clemente, our Associate Lead Principal for Pinecrest Academy.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. I'm thrilled to be talking to all of you about Pinecrest Academy. It's very near and dear to my heart. I've been working for Pinecrest for 9 years, and as a principal, and I've also been through the Pinecrest network as a parent. So that makes me very proud that my child was educated in this wonderful system. Pinecrest prides itself in the belief that all students can learn with appropriate support. Pinecrest believes in the push and pull philosophy. We push our high achievers and we pull those struggling students with intervention supports and our high achievers through enrichment. We have an established record of exceptional outcomes, implementing best practices that have yielded fantastic results, and we have proven success with all types of students, with minority students and non-minority students. And I am here to talk and brag a little bit about how wonderful our system is. I know that Mr. Alvarez mentioned that Pinecrest Inc. is a high-performing system in the Florida Department of Education, but also the Pinecrest schools in Nevada are rated as they have the 5-star rating, or they have the star rating system, and it is a 5-star rating network of schools in Nevada as well. We do have two schools that are blue ribbon. One of them is in Las Vegas, Pinecrest Inspirada, and the other one is in Miami, Pinecrest North. And most recently, there are 4 schools in Nevada in the top 10, in the top 10 in the state of Nevada. There's Pinecrest Horizon, which took number 7 in the top elementary schools in Nevada, and there's Pinecrest Inspirada that took number 9 as a top 9 schools in the state of Nevada. Those are for the elementary ones. And then we have 2 additional schools, St. Rose, which was the number 3 in the state of Nevada, and also Pinecrest Inspirada Middle School took number 4th place in Nevada. So we're very excited that we have all of these wonderful accolades. We also are very, very proud to say that we have 100%, most recently, 100% graduation rate in across our Pinecrest network. We are part of an accredited system through Cognia, and we're working towards a school-wide or nationwide STEM accreditation as well through that organization. Pinecrest Academy Middle High was named one of America's best by U.S. News and World Report. And moreover, I want to talk to you a little bit about our assessment, our most recent assessment data as a network. We are really proud to say that 75% of our students are in grades 3 to 5 in elementary school are reading at 75% proficiency. In math, we have our students in the elementary setting doing math at 79% proficiency. Our middle school data, our students are reading at 70% proficiency. In high school at 68% proficiency. And a little bit more about our additional programs. We are really big in STEM, and if you visit any one of our campuses, you're going to see how intentional STEM is across our network. STEM is a really big part as we head deeper into our 21st century. We do offer one of our curricular pieces is Project Lead the Way. We offer it across the board in all of our network schools, K-12. This provides students with project-based curriculum across elementary, across middle and high, and this curriculum exposes and connects students with the STEM curriculum and careers in the future. You can walk into any Pinecrest and you will see STEM infused throughout the school, whether it's Project Lead the Way, whether it's robotics, which some of our schools have participated in the VEX IQ World Robotic Championship, multiple years. Just this past year, we were able to send 4 schools to Dallas, Texas to compete with students from all over the world, and it's it's an amazing experience for all of our students, and it gives Pinecrest notoriety in the STEM world. We also provide coding classes, and some of our schools are even into the flight simulation programs and curriculum. Not only do we provide rigorous curriculum, core curriculum and supplemental, and we are STEM focused, but we also believe in the whole child. And one of our programs that we use across our system is Positive Behavior Intervention Support, PBIS. We believe in promoting a culture of support through a tiered framework. We want our students to be well-rounded, and we want to develop the whole child, behaviorally, academically, socially, emotionally, and for their mental health. When we use this program with fidelity, we know that we can improve social, emotional competence, academic success, and even your school climate. It's the expectation that all of our students across the Pinecrest network are safe, respectful, and responsible.
Thank you so much, Ms. Clemente. If we can move on, I just want to also elaborate a little bit more on the support for the Pinecrest network. Adrian, we can go to the last slide. So like I began earlier in the presentation, this is the support that Pinecrest network provides to all the schools that we serve in all the states, right? Well, and I think the big word to share here is really the collaboration, where no school in no state is on its own island, where there is a structure of promoting collaboration at all instructional levels, with mentors, instructional coaches, and really experienced peers. So we have the Pinecrest Leadership Coalition, which is made up here in the state of Florida, and we also have it in the state of Nevada that works with Idaho and Northern Nevada as well. The Pinecrest Leadership Coalition meets after all our board meetings as well. Those agendas are drafted by our leaders, by our principals, administrative staff, and those collegial discussions take place there. And again, like I mentioned early, we're critical thinkers during those meetings. We're problem solvers, and any one of our principals or any one of our school leaders may have a best practice to share to support their other colleagues. We do network-wide professional development. So I did want to talk about that a little bit. We rotate all the different regions that we serve students. So Pinecrest, Florida, just recently visited multiple campuses. And I'm talking about all our school leaders in Florida. Visited multiple campuses in Nevada. And that's like the national piece, right? Network-wide. Agendas were put together by all the principals, and the discussions took place to really continue, not to have even a deeper understanding, but continue to understand and stay up with what's happening in Florida, what's happening in Nevada. To me, it's very important in my capacity that I understand what's happening in education in Nevada, and that folks in Nevada understand what's happening with education in the state of Florida, right? And vice versa, and that goes for Idaho as well. We've done the opposite too, where Nevada has come to Central Florida. And that's why we're here in Arkansas, right? We want to extend that olive branch and reassure you that network support will continue within its rotations and incorporating Arkansas as well. We create professional learning communities throughout our networks as well. We will provide that in Arkansas as well. It's structured within our leaders. Topics for professional development are spoken about at the state level, and professional development opportunities are also discussed and implemented at the national level. And just most recently, we did a national STEM training, as a lot of our schools already have been deemed STEM certified by Cognia. And some of our schools are looking to pursue that distinction. And these are some of the things that, from the network level, we coordinate at the national scale to make sure that there is professional development pieces in place for all our schools within the references, within the initiatives that they're pursuing.
Carlos,
So,
I'm going to have to ask you to
pass it-
wrap it up. I think we're right at time.
I'm going to pass it to Todd. Todd, it's all
Okay.
yours. Thank
All
you
right.
for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys for being so generous. And if I could, I'll wrap up simply by saying, and to add to what Carlos was saying, is that, well, this is an application for Pinecrest and is absolutely focused on Pinecrest. One of our greatest strengths as an organization, and what makes us unique, is kind of our hybridization. We're not for-profit. There is a for-profit component that is our education service provider, the academic group, and then there's the charter school management organization, which would be Pinecrest or Somerset or Doral, Matter, SLAM. We have a Civica. It is not unusual at all for a principal from one to go to another back and forth. They usually eat it within their own school budgets, and it's amazing the collaboration. They do it. As Carlos said, each network has an annual thing, but we have a national leadership team building thing, which is one of the most productive things you've ever seen. And that's where, when we were going through some of our practice things and talking to the administration here in Florida, I know we have some pretty big ask on the table. And they say, what happens when something goes wrong? And that is really where our strength comes. We've never had a school fail. We have not hit it out of the park every time, but we keep at it. We had one in Arizona that has been a struggle, but it is finally working. We have schools from 100 kids into the thousands. We have schools with thousands of kids on the waiting list. We will not fail you. We will make you very proud. So we're ready for any questions you all may have, and we look forward to an approval. So
Thank you. Would we like to do the legal review now? So, Mr. Reynolds?
Again, this is Stephen Reynolds, attorney with the department. So this part is going to be a little tedious, so bear with me. All right, so this is the final legal review for the charter application. I'm going to take these in chunks.
Okay.
So the first topic is requirements related to ALE. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 615 1005B5, 618-503A1CI, 648-102, 648-103, standard for accreditation 2I1, and the rules governing student special needs funding, just section 4. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with that waiver. So topic number 2 is the board of directors. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 613-608, 613-611, 613-612C, 613-613, 613-615, 613-616A, 613-617, 613-618, 613-619A, C, D2A, D4, 613-6205, 613-622B, 613-630, 613-634, 613-635, 613-1303, 614-101 et sec, which is the whole subchapter. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with any of these waivers. I would make one note. 613-635 was repealed by Act 3 or 418 of 2023, so that law doesn't exist. So if the charter's okay with it, we'll strike that. Okay. So we'll just amend that from the final application.
And the topic for those waivers, I'm sorry, I must have.
It's the board of directors.
Board of directors. Okay.
Yep. So topic number 3 is the class size and excuse me, class size and teaching load. Arkansas Code annotated 617-812, standard for accreditation 1A5 and 1A6, and the rules governing class size and teaching load. The department doesn't have any concerns with those, or legal concerns with those. Number 4 is a flag display. It's the charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 616-105 and 616-106, and the department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 5 is the lease academic facilities, and the charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 621-117, 2 through 5. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 6 is library media services specialist. And so the charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 625-103 3D and 625-104, and as well as the standards for accreditation 2D1 and 4F2. And the department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 7, the personnel policies, duty-free lunch period. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-111. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 8 is the personnel policies, daily planning period. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-114. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 9, personnel policies, non-instructional duties. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-117. The department doesn't have legal concerns with those. Number 10 is the personnel policies requirements. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-201C. And the department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 11, the personnel policies, Committee on Personnel Policies. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-203, 617-205, and 617-209. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 12, personnel policies grievance procedure. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-208, 617-210. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 13 is personnel policies, employment of licensed personnel. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-301A and B. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 14, personnel policies for classified employees. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-2301, C1 and D2, 617-2032, 617-2303, 617-2304, 617-2405. The department doesn't have any concerns with those. Number 15, personnel policies, website posting requirements. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 611, 129A1B, standard for accreditation 3A2, only to the extent that the classified salary schedule must be published on the school's website, and the rules governing documents posted to school district and education cooperative websites, sections 501.4, 501.5, 601, and 602. And the department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 16, the principal, the charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-302 and standard for accreditation 4C1 and 4C2. And the department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 17, report cards. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 615-903A2. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 18, required instruction. The charter seeking to waive standard for accreditation 1A.1.3. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with that one. Number 19, superintendent requirements. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 613.109, 613.427, and standard for accreditation 4B2. And the rules governing the superintendent mentoring program. And the department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 20, school counselor. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 618-2003 A2A and the standard for accreditation 4E1. The department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. Number 21, teacher licensure. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 615-1004, 617-309, 617-401, 617-418, 617-902, 617-908, 617-919, the standard for accreditation 4D1, and the rules governing educator licensure, just section 7. And there's, department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. I will point out the statute 615 1004 is the AQT statute. So the AQT licensure requirements can be waived, but the rules governing Arkansas qualified teacher can't be waived. It's one of the prohibited waivers. So I just wanted to make a note of that. 22, gifted and talented. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 620-2208 C6, 642-109, standard for accreditation 2G1, and the rules governing gifted and talented program approval standards, and the department doesn't have any legal concerns with those. And with that, I am done with the legal review.
Thank you very much. Dr. Wright McMurray, do you have any questions?
Yes, so just a clarifying question on one of the waivers. So for school counselor, it's in the statement, and I'm hoping I'm having the correct copy, that you're wanting the waiver so that you will be able to hire someone that is in process of trying to become a school counselor, but may not directly be already certified to do so. So is that limited to just those individuals, or will this waiver allow hiring of someone who is not? So is that language gonna tie them to that, or could they potentially get someone who is not even in process? Just trying to make sure I'm clear on that.
Mr. Reynolds? So the question is, would the language that's here in the rationale tie them to hiring someone that is in process of obtaining their counselor license, or could they hire anyone based on this waiver?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the law and see.
Okay.
I don't think we gave you a straight answer on that yet, too. I guess we're saying if, obviously we would, what's explained to me, the intention, of course, is someone that's already on the path. If, we're saying, if someone was to take that job, we're, of course, going to make sure they complete the path to get certified for it. We're not gonna put the janitor in the position, so.
So I guess just for my clarification, as you're seeking out a school counselor for your school, and of the applicants, say there's someone that you really like and want to be in that role, however, they're not on the path to being a school counselor, would this waiver still be used to allow you to hire that person that maybe has the skills that you're looking for, but is
think
not
that's
on the
more of
path
a-
to the credential?
Sounds like a yes.
We will only hire someone that's on the path.
Okay. We're only gonna hire someone on the path.
Okay,
Okay.
They have to be on the path.
all right,
Thank you,
thank
Laura.
you.
Any other questions
On the waivers or?
on the waivers to start with? Yeah. Ms. Saraceni, do you have any questions on the waivers?
No, I looked on the feedback because of the AQT, but it was explained there, so thank you.
Okay. Mr. Davis?
No questions from me regarding the waivers.
Okay, thank you. I do have a couple of questions on the waivers, just for clarification. On the GT program, you're requesting a waiver of the GT program, and can you sort of elaborate on how your program will provide those services? I know that in the rationale it states that there will be a more rigorous curriculum at your charter, so
Let's
what does
find
that programmatically look like?
I'm gonna put this on Lily, she's our
Okay.
expert on this. Come on up, Lily.
Okay, you wanna come up?
Someone's gotta come up. Lily Salazar.
Hi everyone, how are you? Okay, yes, we did request a waiver, and my understanding is that we are going to be doing an integrated model that focuses on the differentiation of instruction when we're working with children that have been found eligible for the gifted program. So within our instruction, we will ensure that they are getting the enrichment, because that is what's happening when we're working with children that are gifted. We want to make sure that we are enriching, and that could be done a variety of ways, but we want to make sure that, you know, the teachers have the gifted strategy so that they can enrich the students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the next question regarding waivers is are you planning on having an RN to supervise your school nurse?
Yes.
And I think that's all I have on the waivers.
I did have another
Oh,
question.
you do?
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I had another note down here and I forgot to
Oh,
bring
you're
it
good.
up.
You're good.
So my other question in regards to waivers is on the ALE. So it looks like that you're seeking a waiver, that you have intention of having some, more directed, intense services to support those students. And then it states that your counselor is going to oversee this component. So can you
Sounds like Lily,
explain
yeah.
that just a little bit more? And then also, just I'm wanting to get a sense of, with all the other responsibilities that your counselor will have in the school, and then taking into consideration how we have the expectation that there's a 90-10
Correct, 90%,
allocation,
and then the 10%.
how is that going to be taken care of?
Sure. So when we're looking at our ALE program, we're looking at through the lens of the RTI and of our tiers. And so, yes, our counselor would be responsible, but at the same time, our administrators are always very much looking and working with all of our students that are in the tiered process to ensure that they're making progress. So it is more of a team effort. I want to be clear. So I am absolutely in agreement with you. I know that Arkansas has a very strict rule on the 90% of the counselor doing their counseling duties, and then the 10% of doing the additional. And because we are aware of that, it would be an administrative team effort when we're working with students that are in need. Do you want a little more information about how we're going to be doing our tiers process? I don't want to overtalk.
Well, I have some other questions about other structural pieces, so we maybe can discuss that when we get to the other piece. Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
It does,
Good.
please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other questions on waivers, we can open it up to other questions. Dr. Wright?
Again, thank you for your presentation, and for those that are joining us virtually for sharing. I guess initially, if I could get a little bit more clarification on, first, how the grades are going to work. I'm just trying to get a sense of how that's, you're starting off with a, is it K through third?
I'm sure we
And
got-
then a 6 and a
who wants to talk?
9?
Who wants to speak? to
So
that?
can you just walk us through how that, what that's
Yeah.
gonna look like?
Who wants to handle it? Anybody, or anybody online? Who, Richard? Richard Moreno, you out there? Richard, explain, to reiterate her question, we're doing K3 and then we do 6 and 9. Explain the philosophy behind that, or the theory.
Correct. So for the schools and the experience that Pinecrest has had over the years is you have certain entry points of the grade configuration. So that usually those entry points are at kindergarten, 6th grade, and 9th grade. So when the school opens up, the idea is to get it into the system. So you open up heavy in kindergarten 1, 2, and 3, and then also into 6th grade. And as those kids then grow up, you're basically just filling into the enrollment of those lower grades. And then the kids all become into the program and basically grow with the program over time. So that's the philosophy behind that growth.
Does that answer your question? And then it builds year after year to develop a cadre of the kids.
Okay. Then.
And I just wanted to add that.
Go ahead,
That
Carlos.
also, yeah, I just wanted to add that even for the middle school component, with, like Ms. Clemente explained about the STEM initiatives, it allows us during the incubation year and year 1 to establish those solid community partnerships in Arkansas and really identify those folks and those corporate businesses that we can align to when we start offering the STEM programming at the middle and high school level.
Thanks.
Okay. And then my next question, one of the presenters spoke to that there's a 100% graduation rate. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Okay. So that's extremely impressive, because typically you don't see 100% of, students doing anything. So could you share your processes of how we're getting to that 100% graduation rate? And then
Sure.
also, as you're speaking to that, can you also share a little bit about your student demographics that that are being served, that are a part of that outcome?
Okay, 2 totally different questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Elaine, why don't we do the graduation rate first? Who wants to speak to that?
Hi, everybody. So yes, we do have a 100% graduation rate in our Pinecrest high schools. We do that through our programming, through our, very early on we identify students that are potentially at risk for non-graduation. So that is when we take them and we provide them interventions and support, as well as counseling to be able to get them to that 100% graduation rate. In our states, we have a requirement to pass certain assessments to be able to get all of the credits to be able to graduate from the state of Florida or from the state of Nevada. So we work very closely with our counselors to be able to identify all of the credits that are needed for graduation. And if students that are struggling, they're not passing the required assessments needed for graduation, that is when the schools provide interventions, they provide support to make sure that the students pass those required assessments.
Yeah, and I think to the point that Elaine just mentioned, there's something to be said about not only the tier 1 and the tier 2 support given at our Pinecrest Academy schools, but to her point, the tier 3, right? When we progress monitor all our students with baseline, mid-year, and post assessments. And what we do is we provide, she mentioned, right, the pull push method. We make sure early on at the elementary level, through the middle school and the high school, that we're providing that tier 3 instruction and support to make sure that we help and assist all our students. And like we said it, right, it says it in our vision, we look at each student as an individual, but to assure that we're giving that tier 3 support to get them at grade level or to work towards grade level. And when we start that at an early age, at the elementary level, and they continue to progress to the middle and high school, I think is one of the contributing factors that put us in position, in addition really to programming as well, with what we're doing with engineering and robotics. I think students are very motivated with those type of programs, but I think the combination of both, really by the time you get to the high school piece, puts students in position through passing statewide assessments and earning the credits necessary to graduate to reach that 100% graduation mark.
And I would also add the partnerships that we establish with our families, with our parents, making sure that the parents are aware of what those standards are and what those requirements are, so that we form a partnership so that ultimately the students can succeed and graduate. So it's not only what's happening inside of the walls of the classroom in our schools, but it's also the extension at home and the support at home.
Does that answer your question? Yes, we're not just juggling numbers around. We're very proud of it, and it builds on itself once the kids challenge themselves as well. So on demographics, who wants to speak on demographics of Pinecrest and maybe look at the broad picture and then some of our schools, because they're very different as well? I think it's maybe somebody in Miami who wants to start, and then someone else can pick up.
If I'm able to share the
Richard.
screen, actually, I have the data right in front that shows you all the Pinecrest schools, at least in Florida, and then we have the other ones throughout the country. But because again, they're representative of the community that the schools are in. So some are 100% minority, other ones are less, but they're based on the overall community. So it's hard to give an average because you do have it basically serving what the community is.
Yeah, hang on a second, Richard, got a follow-up that might help, because that's why it's tough, because we do have, some are 100% minority and others.
I was just trying to figure out it. Did I hear you say you would like to share your screen?
Yeah, if you could, then
okay.
you could just I could just show you quickly kind of what it looks like.
Yes, I think that she's getting that taken care of.
Oh,
I
there
think
we
you
go.
should be able
I got it here.
So I
Okay.
guess more so my question is, students that are choosing to attend your charters, are those students, and it sounds like when you described how you're reaching your graduation rates with some of your students that are coming to you that may have some barriers to graduating on time with their peers, but is that representative of the typical student that would come to a Pinecrest school? Or are we seeing students that are pursuing education at your schools that would normally be high achievers or have higher outcomes than their peers in another school setting? So I guess I'm trying to get a better sense of what type of students are pursuing education at your schools.
Who wants to? Adrian, go ahead.
Hi,
Try,
sorry, Adrienne
yeah.
Lima, and I can go a little bit, and I have the demographics of each high school, but these are open enrollment schools that have a lottery process. If you'd like, I can go into, the network in Florida is predominantly Hispanic. The high schools range between, 65% free and reduced lunch. That's pretty much the norm. Here's another one that's 65 for the high.
I think Adri hit on a point. We use a lottery system.
Right.
So, I mean, there is the barrier to entry is they have to apply. After that, it's random. And some have huge waiting lists, other ones don't not as much, but we don't test, we don't cherry pick.
But the outreach is to all, I think is to all of the communities. And
Absolutely,
I think
yeah.
that maybe that is what you're looking for. Because I do hear and understand where your question is coming from. But however, the outreach is to all of our students and all of the communities that we are in. And we are very aggressive about our outreach. We want to make sure that there is an equal representation of all types of students in our schools, because that's just what makes the school even better, right? When you have so many different types of children there, and it makes the education process so much better. So I think to answer your question, the outreach is there, but it is a lottery system, and therefore, it's who does apply.
Okay. And then last question, related to your CTE, can you give a little bit more detail on what that looks like? I noted that you guys included in your application and you referenced PLTW, but what are some other opportunities students would have to engage in our career technical education
I think that's
instruction?
Carlos, CTE,
And Carby? Maybe Carby.
or Carpi?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, Carby and I can attest
All
to
right.
that. So,
Go for it.
again, and in reference to the CTE, it's not in the interest of the network to come in and dictate or decide what are the pathways that will be offered. We feel that there's a combination of different factors that go into that. One is stakeholder feedback. Two is reviewing the Owen report that shares information on what will be the biggest job openings in years to come, particularly state by state. So understanding and taking a deeper dive into that. I think what we come into is we share the current pathways that we offer at our campuses, and to name a few, we have an engineering pathway that positions yourself to earn an industry certification in that area. We have digital multimedia as well, where it encompasses Adobe Bundle industry certifications. We have law academies, where you participate through mock trials, and there's an associated legal professionals industry certification aligned to that. So really, in some of our campuses, vary. I think what I see from my perspective, my lens, is that all of our pathways are aligned to sciences, and really critical thinking and problem solving skills is what you see. But we'd be happy to share what are, and that, this is just to name a few, but what are all our pathways that we offer throughout Pinecrest. There's one that we have in Nevada that is in preparation for being a pilot and going in that pathway. So they vary by state, but again, I think the final determining factor is looking at survey, stakeholder input, reviewing the Owen report, and really like in an advisory board along with the team at Pinecrest, Arkansas, making a conscientious decision of what would fit best there for that community and for the students that we're serving there.
Does that help?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Ms. Saraceni?
Thank you for the presentation. I just want a little bit more information as we focus on literacy in Arkansas, the science of reading. And I see that one of your interventions is using the Wilson system.
Clint, come on up.
So would you kind of just speak to that a little for those people
We
that
have
are
an
struggling
expert
with your
here.
literacy?
It's like
What
you
is
asked
your-
that question, just this whole reason he came. Introduce
Well,
yourself.
good morning. My name's Clint Duvo. When we look at literacy, especially at the younger ages, we do our diagnostic testing using our basic battery inventories to ensure. Wilson is one of the programs that we use to ensure phonemic awareness and phonics instruction is being met for students who need support in the either the orthographic or the phonological component to get to the next section. So the science of reading, we really, want to make sure that we're not teaching it in context, but really by skill based. So kids get targeted skills, they go through the scope and sequence, to make sure they're mastering those skills so that they're building the foundation, so that they're, stretching out sounds and words and putting the relationship together between final and ending sounds. They get to the medial sound. I mean, there's a lot there that goes on. So that's kind of a little bit of how we would support the school districts here and the schools here in Arkansas.
And we are open to, recommendations regarding to our systems. So these are systems that we have used, curriculums that we have used, but we are definitely
Mhm.
open to other recommendations. I do know that Arkansas provides a list when it comes to dyslexia as well, which is very important. But when we're thinking of the science of reading, we're thinking of just that, making sure the phonics, phonemic awareness, the decoding, the fluency, the comprehension, the vocabulary, making sure that those skills are being actually, very
Systematic and explicit.
explicitly taught,
Yes.
so that, the
And
reading
tracked
just
and
comes
progress
together. Right,
monitored, yes,
absolutely.
through a tiered process.
Yeah.
I'm a Wilson fan, so
Yeah.
I
Yes.
was very
Good.
excited.
And there's, Orton Gilliam and
Yeah.
other programs.
Yes, yes.
But yes,
Absolutely.
Wilson is one I use in my own school right now. Foundations and my interventionists use it. And we see a lot of success in our students in our
Absolutely.
K3, so that, the learning gaps are, if they can be closed, if they're, we're identifying students that may possibly need additional support through a tiered process that may qualify for special ed, or they may not. They might just need
They might
skills that
respond
they,
to the intervention.
right.
And just be fine.
So in our schools, we use, a strict method to implementing the science of reading.
Yeah, it's all about that systematic, explicit
Yeah.
instruction,
That is so true.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, Ms. Saraceni? Mr. Davis?
Yes, just a couple questions from me. One, you have done this a few times now in regards to moving into other states. Can you talk to me about what that process looks like and how you go about engaging community as you move into other areas which you may not have sort of some history of participation?
I guess we can answer it in a couple parts. When you say, like, how are we choosing where to go?
No, but that is one other question
Okay.
that I do have, which is the why Arkansas, why now? But my first question really focuses on, every community is different. And obviously, as you began to think about moving into a community and engaging into a community to build an understanding around what you plan to offer to students, there may be particular ways in which you go about doing that. And so I guess I'm asking what that might look like. So for example, you may say, we really focus on hiring local talent and local leadership that have been connected to the community for a while, right? You may say, we spend a lot of time with our business community and, we ensure that they are aware and their employees are aware what's happening. You may say, because we have a very strong Hispanic background in our schools in Miami, we've really found engaging, the Latino culture is something that we like to do. So I'm just trying to figure out what are the 1, 2, 3 steps you take as you think about moving into a community and what that might look like.
Okay. I'll do some of the nuts and bolts. Richard, can you give us some of the research we do when looking at a state and where to best place a school? And then some of the real whys is somewhat personal, and there were people that were interested in us coming here. And honestly, for me, my daughter said, when are you guys going to bring a school here? So we started talking about it, and then the more research we did, it seemed to be a good fit. But Richard, tell us more about that process?
Yeah, so exactly. So the first it starts is with somebody from that area or community reaching out to the organization, and that's what happened in this case. So they come on and say, hey, it'd be great. We visited one of your schools. It'd be great to have one come to our state. From there, we try and look at then what is the areas of most need in that state. It's a combination of both growth and demographic need that's looking at that. So we have a pretty robust software that basically allows us to look at demographic, we look at traffic counts, we look at the school crowding, and we get the ideas where that growth and where we can be a need and match what the needs are of the local schools, and to try to do that. So that's kind of how we go through the process, and then from there, we kind of just highlight a general area where we think would be the most ideal, and then we partner with local partners to find the locations.
And one thing I can add, and it's more of a global thing, it's not directly to the question, but we met a few months ago with some administrative people in education here, and there was a real, to be blunt, they said, everybody wants to go to Northwest Arkansas, but we need help in the southern part of the state. And we learned a lot about the southern part of the state. And I guess my answer then, and we've worked on it more, is that I think we absolutely can be a great partner in growing throughout the state and helping some of those areas, but we have to achieve some scale first. You know, we would face the exact same challenge that you guys do in serving some of those underserved communities, and we've done it many times, but you've got to get a base first, and then we can sort of go out from there. But once we're here, our goal is to be a great partner with this. And Mr. Davis, does that answer your question? And
I think I have.
yes.
Hi.
Sure, that's sufficient. My next question.
Oh, hey, I think I don't want to interrupt you, Mr. Davis, but if Adri stood up, she's got something good to say. Yes.
I hope it's good.
Oh, sure.
Just to talk more locally about when we do work with the networks and to open a school, what we try to do is get boots on the ground, reach out to churches, daycare centers, pre-Ks, business partners. We look into community events that Pinecrest may sponsor or have a table at. There's still a lot of grassroots marketing going on with these schools. There is a big, digital and online presence, and Pinecrest really has done a beautiful job of ramping up their brand. But we know that it's a challenge coming into a new community. So we would make all efforts really to make that brand a name in the homes. And we do so, like I said, by reaching out to the community through Halloween events, holiday events, and going to churches and community centers. And then specifically in Fayetteville, we'd look into just different community business partners, whether it's in the healthcare industry. We do reach out to HR departments of different businesses to let their employees know a school's coming to you. So there are quite a few different ways we reach out to the local community.
And an extension of that grassroots campaign, like Adrienne mentioned, is one of the things we always focus on at the beginning as well is connecting with our local municipality, right? So I think that's key in meeting with our elected officials, with mayors, with council members or commissioners, how they may be called there, and kind of one is get their foot in the door and get them to understand Pinecrest in Arkansas and what our model is and what our programs are offering. Right, and then how can we be a humble servant of that community and give back to Fayetteville, right? And we know that in municipalities that have multiple events throughout the year. One common thing that you see really with incubation and startup schools is how the school is present at local municipal events, really supporting our municipality, but also connecting with the community that attends these municipal events, whether it be like a trunk or treat or some sort of holiday initiative, whatever it may be, a back to school drive, right? So a lot of those common municipality events that you see within the communities that we serve, Pinecrest Academy in Arkansas will be very visible and an active participant in those community events.
Thanks, Carlos. And Mr. Davis, I know we got a little off your question. I apologize. Yes.
No, that was fine. And once, I don't think I stated this, but my questioning comes from really a place of understanding, not whether you are or aren't doing it, but when you have someone who's done it and it appears to do it well, they have a track record, in multiple areas, we know that there will be others who may be coming to the state. And so it gives us an opportunity to learn. So my questions are actually coming from a very learning place, and I want you to know that. With that being the case, here's another opportunity, I think, for us on the committee to learn. Talk about talent, right? A critical aspect of the work, obviously, is classroom as well as educational leadership talent. How do you go about identifying that talent? How do you go about, I know that there's a strong professional development component, but the original sort of identification of talent, what are you looking for those individuals, particularly those classroom teachers that are interested in helping you serve your mission? And how do you find them?
Who wants to take that? Really? And also, Alex, if you want to jump in, we have a number of principals on here, but Alex has to swear in before she speaks, but.
Blaine, you want to go ahead and start
Yeah.
at the school-based level?
Yeah. Well,
Yep, okay.
just want to turn it up so I don't have to squat down.
Yeah, you're pretty tall.
You know, when teachers join our schools, the first thing, you know, is really getting into the classrooms. You're going to see the leaders in the classrooms. You're going to see a structure of administrators, coaches, walking through classrooms on a daily basis to look for the vision and the mission that Pinecrest is looking in every classroom. There's an ongoing constant feedback through formative assessment that also has more formal assessments throughout the year. And as we see strengths, we like to showcase that across the school. So we have peer observation going on, professional learning communities going on. There's just a rich plethora of transparency and openness for growth. Nobody's coming into our schools, leaders all the way down the whole system, thinking that they know all of it. They know what the vision and the mission is. And to support that vision and mission, we have to support each other. We have to look for everyone who's highlighting best practices that the schools are holding the teachers to, and getting that throughout the entire school. So it's a team effort.
And I want to
you
go
wanna
back
add?
a little,
Yeah.
because he was specifically asking about how we identify.
So through the observation,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, but even before that, even before they come into our schools, they've got to love children. And that is a question we ask. Do you love children? Do you like to teach? Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah,
Are we planning on, will we find local talent?
150%.
Yeah.
We always, and especially that's the beauty behind the community events as well, and the outreach and the marketing. We're not only looking for students, we are looking for local teachers, because they, you know, pedagogy is pedagogy, education is education, but understanding and knowing your community, especially if you've grown up in this community, when you bring that into a classroom, that is a game changer. And so definitely we will certainly be highly recruiting local teachers as much as we can, working with the colleges, because we really want them in.
Yeah.
Mr. Davis had answered that part of it?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
All right.
No further questions from me.
Since that gives me a little opportunity, one of our other affiliates of Doral College, something we've done over the years is we have our own dual enrollment program with a accredited college. And I think the last couple of years, not only do we graduate hundreds of kids with AAs for free, we've now done the biggest need we have, and we're teaching, we have 4-year degrees for teaching. So we now have some of our students have been with us kindergarten through college, and they're now teaching in our schools. So we're growing our own. And we're a little ways, obviously, from doing that here, but they'll be able to do it here. We'll absolutely have that program. So next question, please. You see the passion. I'm sorry, we gotta manage everybody.
We're all type A personalities, sorry.
I believe that Cassandra Barnett is online, and she had a question for you.
Okay. Did she hear?
Yes, thank you. I am the program advisor for school libraries, so I'm just curious, since you've been asking for waivers for most of library services, but you have said you're going to hire a school librarian, I'm just wondering how you're planning on using that school librarian.
Who wants to answer?
Can you ask the question one more time?
We've asked for a number of waivers about libraries, but we said we're gonna have a librarian.
Absolutely.
What is that person gonna do?
Okay, absolutely. Yes. So we're going based on the library standard. Just give me one moment so I can get to my notes. Here it is. So we're going based on what the job description and the explanation is when it comes to the media specialists in the state of Arkansas. And therefore, obviously, they will be running the library itself, looking for, working with our teachers in order to ensure that we have a sufficient plethora of books that cover different areas. They will also be helping our teachers understand the library standards and make sure that the standards are being taught in the classroom, because I know that Arkansas has very specific library standards that we must be following. But basically, it's all about just moving the love of reading, philosophy, and movement, making sure that there's books for our children to do so. Librarians, some of our librarians that work with us also are very much involved in the Accelerated Reader Program, and that's where children are able to read. They read and they earn points and prizes. So those are the types of things. But we would be adhering to exactly what that role is here in the state of Arkansas.
Okay, so why did you ask for waivers then if you're planning on following?
Right, we may not have a media center per se, but we will have a librarian. And so she will be able to provide her services even if we have in the classroom, like, books, because we plan on having books in the classroom.
Okay, thank
Right,
you.
The standards, I mentioned that's really important, the library standards here and the studying and stuff like that's very important.
In Arkansas, that school librarian is expected to be a co-teacher in the teaching of those standards. So I hope that's the approach your librarian will take. Thank you.
The discussions we were going to
Absolutely.
embed those standards into the curriculum.
Yeah, that's why I had said earlier, it's really, we understand that the standards are extremely important and that she must be working with the classroom teachers on it. Thank you for clarifying for that, Ms.
Thank you.
Barlett.
Any further questions?
There's a question in the chat.
Oh, there is? Okay, let me take a look.
Is that like someone from the public?
No, it's from a,
So, Jerry Clark from Child Nutrition.
Nutrition.
Actually, not nutrition, health, sorry.
I'm with school health. I'm with the school health unit here at the Department of Ed. So, when you guys address the waiver number 5 in your plan, you mentioned that you were going to hire a medical assistant to be present on campus to follow through with medical tasks that students might need. And I did hear someone earlier in the conversation ask, I don't remember who it was, if there was going to be a supervising RN. But I wanted to just make a point that the plan to have a medical assistant on campus, a medical assistant is really the equivalent of just a lay person, someone who does not have a medical license to follow through with certain medical tasks. Some of the nursing services can be waived by the Department of Ed, but many of them cannot be. The Nurse Practice Act regulates the administration of certain controlled substances and certain medical tasks that cannot be delegated. So my question is, if you have a student that enrolls on your campus that needs a non-delegatable medical task or medication, what's your plan to address that if you only have a medical assistant present on campus?
I apologize. The hiring is going to be of an LPN, so I apologize that was not clear, and then we would have an RN supervising. Ms. Clark, I apologize for that. But we
Okay.
will have an LPN.
Thank you.
so I guess just for my clarification, in the application, it didn't state that clearly. So what, or was that is that an update to another application, or
Do we need to amend?
was that part of an updated version?
From what
We're
I
gonna look at,
recall,
we'll
it
look up
was
and see the,
actually Not LPN, so I'm gonna look back at it real quick.
and we will too, if we can find it quick.
think it was a medical assistant, or it may have
This
been,
page 630,
I think at most it may have been,
a lot of pages.
the language may have led to maybe a CNA, or, but it wasn't like a LPN.
Possibly, I think originally we may have had CNA, but then it was changed to an LPN. But I'm trying to look it up now.
Yeah, see if
Yeah,
we can,
it's under waiver number 5.
we're certainly amenable to it if it's, you know, not written that way.
Well, I think an LPN would be appropriate. We just I didn't see that in the application that we reviewed, the initial application with that waiver request.
Yeah, I think in the subsequent one, the final
Okay.
we did correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he's saying, you probably couldn't hear, it. We believe the subsequent application that was amended to be
And
LPN.
it's on the record that it'll
Yes,
be an
yeah.
LPN, so, yeah.
So we got it?
I think we had put certified nursing assistant.
The waiver, yeah, the waiver part, probably we updated in the actual application and. but
Okay,
the
well, like I said, we're on the record, and if it's,
But
Yes,
that is
if we need
that
to,
is the intent.
okay, good,
thank you.
sure.
Thank you.
That's why we're here. I mean, these are helpful.
Ms. Saraceni, do you have any other questions? Mr. Davis? Any discussion?
No additional questions from me.
Any discussion?
Did Dr. Moore send any questions about this particular one?
She did. I've been
Okay,
asking those as
Okay.
we go along.
she's on her way.
Okay, good. Let me make sure I've covered everything that she had on here. She does reference, the application references ELA performance for 11th graders taking the ACT, but does not reference math performance. So she was just wondering why.
What question, I'm sorry?
Sorry, it was, it references, so the application references ELA performance for 11th graders taking the ACT, but does not reference math performance. So she's just wondering why.
For 11th grade.
I do remember that being a comment in the initial review, and we added ELA and math, but I'm trying to find the red line document for you so I can tell you what page it's on.
Okay.
Okay, working on it. This goes back to that, what I mentioned, we like the process. Often, we get one shot, and there's always gonna be typos in such a gigantic thing. And then by being able to amend it, it makes this at least a little bit easier. We'll work on it, we'll find it. But they seem to remember adding math. That would be an obvious oversight anyway. We wouldn't do one without the other.
Right, right.
We can ask
Stand up
Carby,
here.
yeah, we can ask, Carby, to talk a little bit, or, maybe Carlos to talk a little bit about how we use the ACT, because I do know that they use it for.
Well, maybe before we get in, I think
Yeah.
that they just wanna know that it is going to be addressed.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
that's,
Yeah,
that's.
we don't have
Oh, okay.
what
I'm not
they're asking.
trying to keep everybody from talking, but,
It would be an ELA and math.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
okay.
sorry.
All right, I think that's all of her questions. So any further discussion?
I have none.
Mr. Davis?
We couldn't hear you over here. Can you please clarify the question again?
Oh,
And
Carlos, we're
reference
good. The word math had been left off of, maybe it wasn't in the initial application. It looks like we amended it, so we're good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, right, because
Sure.
we can reference that.
So if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve, the application, Pinecrest Academy, for a charter in the state of Arkansas.
And Mr. Reynolds, do we need
I
a time
second.
frame on that motion? No, okay. All right, so Ms. Saraceni has made the motion and Mr. Davis has seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed? So we'll go to our voting sheets and we'll fill those out and we'll come right back to you. right, we'll start out with Mr. Davis.
Yes. I support the motion to approve the application in order to provide families in the state of Arkansas an additional high-quality school option.
Dr. Wright McMurray.
I voted for. I support Pinecrest Preparatory Academy Fayetteville application. I look forward to seeing similar results and outcomes demonstrated in other states replicated in Arkansas.
And Ms. Saraceni.
I voted for. I support the approval of the Pinecrest Preparatory Academy in Fayetteville to beginning the 24-25 school year. I look forward to seeing the impact on students in Arkansas as demonstrated in other states.
And then I voted for the approval of the Pinecrest Preparatory Academy of Fayetteville. I believe their model will make a great addition to the charter landscape in the state of Arkansas. So, congratulations. All right. Mr. Reynolds? Mr. Reynolds, we're going to take just a short break. So we're going to take about a 5-minute break. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Is everybody back on your team? Oh, okay. Okay. Do you want to go ahead and start, or you want to wait? I think we can start, because Carlos is going to. Yeah. Oh, okay. I just wanted to be sure before we got started. So we'll go ahead and swear everybody in that's going to speak on behalf of the charter.
Yep. Zoom. Hey guys, we got to swear in. Can they hear us?
All right. If
First,
you'll
we got to
stand-
swear in again, everyone. Alexandria, if you're there this time, just in case.
So stand, raise your right hand. Is Alexandria on?
Alex, Richard, are you guys out there? Yep. Raise your right hand.
Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Okay, so do you, those that are going to speak on behalf of the charter, do you swear that what you're about to say is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, thank you very much. You may begin your presentation.
Hello again. I'm
think I've seen you
helping
recently.
facilitate this application for Civica. As we say, we're very excited to be with you today. To reiterate, we enjoyed the process, and I think we saw it in the back and forth with the state made it so much easier. And then we're really looking forward to being in Arkansas and working with you. I'm going to turn it over to Carlos again, and he has a different role in this, and he's the principal of a Civica high school, which is, and I will, from personal standpoint, an amazing thing. And I think I mentioned my daughter before, not to overdo that, but she's a physician. And when they asked her to be on the founding board in Benton, for Bentonville, for Civica, she came down and took a tour with Carlos of his school, and it's absolutely amazing what he's done there. And I look forward to him explaining to you what they're going to recreate here in Florida. So with that, I'm in Arkansas. I say it the right way too. No, well, she's not even here. So Carlos, tell us about Civica and what you're going to do here in Arkansas.
Thank you, Todd, for the introduction. Carlos Alvarez, principal of Cohia Career and Collegiate Academy and the founder of the Civica Network, and I also serve as the president in that capacity for that network. You know, one of the things that we had spoken about earlier is we found that in education, to a certain capacity in high school, we were failing kids, right? And that's where my passion came for Civica. You know, we saw advanced programming, right? We saw AP courses or Cambridge or IB. We saw partnerships with colleges and universities and offering dual enrollment programs, right? But then what happened to the student that didn't qualify for AP, that didn't qualify for dual enrollment, right? They just kind of passed the buck and went through school and just earned a high school diploma. And then we set them out into the real world and they had to figure it out, right? So we changed that, right? We felt that students were being underserved, and at the 6-12 level and even in the K-5 level, but really leading to the high school piece, we had to offer programming for all students and to serve all needs, right? And that's where the birth of Civica came, where through our robust CTE pathways, we have programs and academies for all students that we serve, right? So now we're looking at, our goal is for students to graduate from high school with a skill set and also continue to offer the collegiate piece through the AP programming and the dual enrollment partnerships. And I want to elaborate a little bit about that, right? Our mission is really to strive an environment for academic achievement, character formation, and college. And again, and a big emphasis on career readiness, right? Our model is driven to identify pathways specific to the communities that we serve, specific to stakeholder feedback, specific to jobs and career opportunities in those communities. And like I mentioned earlier, the CTE pathways, the career and technical education, our goal is to offer programming aligned to industry certification. So when those students graduate from high school, they're in a position to graduate with an industry certification should they choose to apply it to the real world for job placement immediately after high school graduation. And to give you an example, right, some of the academy, we call them academy CT pathways. We have a criminal justice academy that is piloted in some of our newer schools, and we offer it, where we've aligned public service aid certifications and also 911 telecommunications, where students are certified as 911 dispatchers. And when I said robust earlier, is because this is not you take a course in a one-off and then you sign up for an industry certification. No, it is a true pathway where students declare a pathway, an academy in the commencement of high school and take a progression of courses through 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, leading to a position for them to be certified in the industry aligned to that academy. And let me just backtail a little bit. In middle school, I think the key component is giving students the opportunity to explore the career wheels, like we like to call them, right? How can I tell a student to declare an academy or to select an academy with no foundational information? So like you see some of the exploratory wheels in middle school that have music and dance and art, and we offer that, but we also offer the exploratory wheels that are aligned to the pathways that we offer. So students in 7th and 8th grade get to take those courses as elective to start kind of exploring, is this really something that I want to do? Is this something that is aligned? Is this something that I like? Is this something that I love? Is this something I want to learn about, right? So kids going into high school have had the opportunity to take the exploratory career wheels where they developed a foundation about what these pathways entail, and it's something that they want to declare among commencement of high school. We have a firefighting academy as well, right? And we line that up, again, progression of courses, emergency medical responder certification, that with that certification, you are certified and licensed to provide basic life support in any type of ambulance company that is provided in your community. We also align it to emergency medical technician. The EMT program is one of the 3 certificates that you need to be a firefighter. It's EMT, Fire Academy, and Paramedic School. We have a law and legal academy as well, where it has the aligned professional legal certification aligned to it, where you can get an entry-level job at a legal office. A lot of the skills in that industry certification is becoming very familiarized with Microsoft Office and all its programs. We have a mass communication academy where students get firsthand experience in the digital world. They manage the school's YouTube channel. They do the morning announcements. They edit on video. They edit on Photoshop. They provide content for the school. And then with those certifications in the Adobe bundle, like I mentioned, the Premiere, and specific for our school, the Photoshop, students have gotten positions and jobs in Telemundo and local networks, right, in our community. And then we have the medical academy, right, and that has an emphasis on there is a demand, and there is a need in some of these entry-level jobs in health science where there's no applicants, or if there are applicants, there's not a large enough pool to select from. So we offer a phlebotomy industry certification. Again, through a group of 4 courses, we offer an EKG technician, right? And our goal is, right, through being in these academies and these pathways, students are more motivated, right? Students that are not in AP, not in dual enrollment, are more motivated to be in school, more motivated to identify a pathway, a possible career. And it really attributes to the success of our program. Our motto is honor, respect, and loyalty. And Ms. Carvajosa will talk a little bit about that. We are really have identified the Leader in Me program. I think in education too, we've lost the pillars of character formation and values that students need in this country. And also our STEM program as well, that we now changed it to STEAM, that also provides that supplemental piece in building the whole child, right? We have 2 campuses currently open, aside from Cohia, our home base, and that's Civica, Colorado, located in a very rural area in Milliken, Colorado. That's currently a 611. They are in year 3 of operations. And kind of, I want to share this because if approved, this will be a brand new school. This school's in its 3rd year of operation. At 2nd year data, it's already outperforming the school district and its neighboring schools as well. And some of the pathways that they offer are a health services academy, medical terminology, a business and information systems, and industries and manufacturers. So they're focusing too on agriculture as well. Civica Nevada in Las Vegas does the criminal justice program as well, and the community health as well. So those are those 2 pathways. Their high school just got off the ground. We currently not currently, but about a year ago, we were approved to open in Ohio. And just recently, this past summer, we got approved to open in South Carolina. So I'll pass it to Ms. Carvajosa to tell you a little bit also about the collegiate piece, right? Some samples of the advanced placement, right? We want to make sure we service all kids, and she can talk a little bit to that.
Good morning, everyone. So I've been at Cohia for 15 years now. And one of the biggest joys that I have is being able to see our students, my former students, who come back and they serve our school and they stay in their community. And that's very important because a lot of times, when you're young, you want to achieve certain career goals. And if you feel that you cannot do it in your hometown, those talents are then moved to other places. So one of the biggest goals that we had is making sure that the talents of our youth stay within our own community. And we definitely want to be able to replicate that success of keeping our youngsters, keeping the talent within our community in Bentonville. So in addition to the career pathways through CTE certifications, we also focus on post-secondary education in the form of providing credits through advanced placement program, through the College Board. We follow all the criteria for that. And in the different schools, we offer the courses based on the interest of the students and also what is going to better prepare them for the different fields that they're going into. For dual enrollment, we have partnerships with local colleges such as Doral College and Miami-Dade College here in Florida and Ames College in Colorado. In the past graduation, I believe 20% of our graduates graduate with an associate's degree. That means that students are receiving an associate's degree, a college degree, before they even receive their high school degree in June. And when we opened up the school, once again, we're looking to meet the needs of the kids so that they don't feel that they need to go somewhere else to render their talents. They can definitely blossom in their careers here in the hometown. In terms of school initiatives, school-wide initiatives, not only is it about developing the work skills, the normal work skills that everybody knows, the requirements for certification, but also soft skills are very important. We work in a world where we have to be able to collaborate with others, and it's not so much about how it used to be in the past, where you can work, isolated. No, now the market requires for collaboration to take place, and so with initiatives such as the STEAM program and Leader in Me, we hope to build those strong soft skills, such as problem solving through the application of the engineering process. And in terms of Leader in Me, we're talking about the 7 habits of highly effective people through the parent company Franklin Covey, which in the corporate world is very, it's very well known. So it's the application and the teaching of the 7 habits and the 5 paradigms at the school level. We're very proud to be one of the first high schools in Florida to be offering this program. And this program is also being offered network-wide. So all 3 schools in our network work with a coach to make sure that we are not only providing them with, the regular curriculum skills, but also the soft skills.
Yeah. So, and I want to, Adrian, you can go really quick back to I want to talk a little bit from our recent visit with Ms. German and Ms. Carvajosa. You can go back to the Civica Bentonville slide. So, a little bit more. Thank you so much. So, after our recent visit to Bentonville, and I know we got to tour the community, and a very thank you to Ms. German for really kind of taking us around and helping us get a further understanding for that community. Some of the proposed academies with the growth and the development that we see there is academies in health sciences, business and marketing, economics and international studies, academy of advanced academics and computer sciences. And it's not listed here, but with one of my board members that's to my right, she was having a conversation with me this week, and she wanted to talk a little bit about also another opportunity for a pathway that could be proposed and thought through. And I'll let her talk a little bit about that, Ms. Morales.
Seeing as how Arkansas is big on early education, especially with literacy, proposing a pathway for students to be able to learn how to be early childhood educators would definitely be something that would help with that initiative. Seeing as how 35% of the Arkansas students at 3rd grade are reading at grade level, we definitely want to target that and help the students at our sister schools be able to get to where they need to be at an earlier age.
And we provided in our presentation also some data of not only our school, but some of our sister schools as well. So in year 1, we wanted to be known that Civica Colorado, after its year 1 of operation, outperformed every school and the school district in their CMAS scores. The only school that they did not outperform was KQA, which is Knowledge Quest Academy, which has been around for longer. And I do want to say after year 2 of operations, and if you look at year 1, according to the CMAS performance framework, we were at 68.5 and Knowledge Quest Academy was at 72.7. And again, this is like a new school, right? It's been only in existence, this isn't year 3 of operations. Year 2, we're proud to say that we did outperform the other charter school and are the top performing charter school in our district in Milliken, Colorado. In addition to that, also surpassing the school district and all the neighboring schools. So one thing that I wanna, and I know I overheard the other conversation earlier was, you have to tie longitudinal data, if you can bring that up, longitudinal data to programming, right? And vice versa. So one thing that we're very proud about, and that's why we know this is working. And I want to explain this to the team in Arkansas. So our state, part of our school grade and how we're assessed, there's a component called college and career readiness. And that percentage, that score that we get is based on your cohort of seniors. And it's based on any student that has passed a dual enrollment course with a C or higher, passed an AP exam, an advanced placement exam with a 3 or higher, or have earned an industry certification. And we're proud to say that since 2019, our scores in the college and career readiness component That's why we know that we're not failing kids. That's why we know that there's no child left behind. 99% college and career readiness in 19. 99%, because we had pandemic, no school grade in 2020. 99% college and career readiness in 99. In 22, 94% graduation, college and career readiness. And in 2023, very proud to say that every single student passed an either industry certification, dual enrollment course, or AP exam 100%. But you need to connect that, right? How does that tie longitudinal to graduation rates? How does CTE pathways drive students to graduate from high school aside from advanced programming? Look at our data, and it speaks for itself. 2017, 96% graduation rate. 2018, 97% graduation rate. 2019, 99% graduation rate. 2021, 98% graduation rate. 2022, 100% graduation rate. 2023, right, 97% graduation rate. So we've never been below 95%, and I truly feel that in our hearts, it's a testament of offering programs and educational opportunities for all the students that we serve. I do want to say that across the board, and comparing our sister schools, we're assessed in 14 exams of proficiency. In those 14 exams, Coahuila outperformed the school district and the state in 13 out of the 14 exams. So it's not only the CTE pathways, it's not only the college, the collegiate piece with the partnership, it's about the quality in the content areas. We're getting ready for Hispanic Heritage Month, and our department chairs are all meeting together to do cross-curricular instruction. How does ELA, how does math, how does science, how does social studies work together? So in closing, I want to thank you for the opportunity to present this application to you. We are excited and elated to come into Bentonville and really partner up. And I do think we have a video in closing if we have time. If not, we can just go to the next steps.
How long is it? How long is it?
It's not even, it's a minute and a half.
Minute and a half?
Is this
Looks
able
like
to play?
I don't know.
If we can,
Technology. It's not looking good.
they may have to start it from over there.
Well, we don't want to hold everything. We had a nice video. I'm not sure,
Very nice.
Carlos, I'm not sure it's technically we can do it here.
No worries.
Okay. But
Thank
see,
you.
Yeah, and you see Carlos's his passion. You see the school, these schools, they have fire colleges right there. There's a courtroom in the school. It's amazing how, we were talking about career development earlier. This is a totally different thing. And knowing Bentonville very well, there's some schools are focused on, in America, all we talk about is college, but this gives other opportunities as well. And with it growing so much. And I think that he had mentioned the Farsi angle, and that's something we're really going to explore as well, because there's a huge population there that I think is very underserved by pretty much any school in America, because it's relatively new as an ethnic group, but it's very large, and they're very insular, so it helps bring them into the community. So I guess our closing, everybody was here for the last, we are a cohort, we all work together. Civica is a bit smaller, but they have no less power than any of the others, because we're all here to help them and make sure they succeed. So I guess time for the legal part, and then we'll take questions.
All right, thank you very much.
Sure.
Mr. Reynolds?
The very exciting legal part. All right, so this is the same process. It's going to take a minute. I'm just going to go in bunches. So waiver topic number 1 is the ALE. The charter is requesting the waive Arkansas Code Annotated 615, 1005, B5, 618, 503, A1, C1, CI, 648, 102, 648, 103, standard for accreditation 2I1, and the rules governing student special needs funding, just section 4. And we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 2, the board of directors. The charter's seeking to waive ARCSO code annotated 613-608, 613-611, 613-612C, 613-613, 613-615, 613-616A, 613-617, 613-618, 613-619A, C, D2A, D4, 613-6205, 613-622B, 613-630, 613-634, 613-635, 613-1303, 614-101 et sec. And we don't have any legal concerns with that. I'll make the same note as I made on the other application. 613-635 was repealed by.
We're fine with the law that
Okay. All right. So waiver topic number 3, class size and teaching load. Arkansas Code annotated, the charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-812, standard for accreditation 1A5 and 1A6, and the rules governing class size and teaching load, and the department doesn't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 4, is flag display. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 616-105 and 616-106, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 5, leased academic facilities. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 621-117, 2 through 5, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 6, the library's media service and specialist. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 625-103, 3D, 625-104, and standards for accreditation 2D1, 4F1, and 4F2, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 7, personal policies, duty-free lunch period. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-111, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 8 is personnel policies, daily planning period. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-114, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 9 is personnel policies, non-instructional duties. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-117, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 10 is the personnel policies requirements. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-201C, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 11 is the personnel policies, committee on personnel policies. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-203, 617-205, and 617-209. We don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 12, personnel policies, grievance procedure. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-208, 617-210, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 13, the employment of licensed personnel. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-301A and B, and we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 14, that's the personnel policies, classified employees. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-20 2301C1 and D2. And we don't have any legal, and 617-2302, 617-2303, 617-2304, and 617-2405. And we don't have any legal concerns with that waiver. Waiver topic number 15, so website posting requirements. The charter seeking to waive 611-129A1B, the standard for accreditation 3A2, only to the extent that the classified salary schedule must be published on the school's website, and the rules governing documents posted to school district and education cooperative websites, section 501.4, 501.5, 601, and 602. And we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 16, the principal requirements. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 617-302, standard for accreditation 4C1 and 4C2. We don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 17, report cards. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 615-903A2. We don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 18, required instruction. The charter seeking to waive standard for accreditation 1A.1.3. We don't have any legal concerns with that. Number 19, superintendent requirements. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 613-109, 613-427, standard for accreditation 4B2, and the rules governing the superintendent mentoring program. We don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 20, school counselor. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 618-2003, A2A, and standard for accreditation 4E1. We don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 21, the teacher licensure. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 615-1004, 617-309, 617-401, 617-418, 617-902, 617-908, 617-919, standard for accreditation 4D1, and the rules governing educator licensure, section 7. I'll make the same note on this application as made on the last one. We can waive the licensure requirements for AQT, but we can't waive the standards. So we don't have any legal concerns with that. Waiver topic number 22, gifted and talented. The charter seeking to waive Arkansas Code annotated 620-2208C6, 642-109, standard for accreditation 2G1, and the rules governing gifted and talented program approval standards. And we don't have any legal concerns with that waiver.
All right, thank you
And
very
thus
much.
concludes the exciting legal part.
Thank you. All right, we'll start on this end with Dr. Moore. Do you have any questions concerning waivers?
Yes. So, and I apologize if I'm redundant on anything that was asked on the previous, because they're similar.
No problem.
I had another commitment that I could not join until now. So some of this may have been addressed with the Pinecrest application, which was similar. But I did have concerns wanting to know about the,
Dr. Moore, if you'll pull your mic down.
Sure.
Sorry, it's lifted.
all right, about the waiver discussion, about GT programs. I'd like to know how that will be implemented in a regular classroom where a teacher who's having to teach everyone will be able to have such differentiated instruction to meet the needs of those learners.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that. I'm sorry. Oh, and I think I need to be sworn in because I was not here when we were sworn
So
in.
if you'll raise your right hand.
Is that my right hand? Yeah.
Right. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so basically when we're doing gifted, we're looking at it in regards to enrichment. And so therefore, we're looking at different activities that the teacher will do when she is working with students and with groups of students to ensure that the students that are identified as gifted are getting enriched. A perfect example could be if there's going to be some type of project. Maybe the children that are, the students that are identified as gifted might have a different little bit of a component of it. You know, for example, make me do a more like a project-based learning activity. So based on what the content is, what we do is we look at the group of children. Obviously, we identify who the children are that have been found eligible for gifted and talented, and then we think of ways that we can enrich what those activities are. In addition, we can also, during any type of differentiation of instruction time, if there's any type of groups coming in, you know, to the teacher, that's also an opportunity where we can always enrich. It's not about giving extra work, it's about just finding different activities to push that giftedness and that higher order thinking of skills, you know, for them.
Okay, thank you. And then also on the waiver regarding the school nurse, I was concerned with a limited scope of practice of a CNA or medical assistant, and it says it'll be under the supervision of an RN. And once again, you may have addressed this with the previous.
No, but let's address
but
it again. I'm okay with it.
Since I'll be voting this time, I want to.
Yes, absolutely. Ask all the questions. Yes, that was a point of clarification, and we will be hiring an LPN.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Right.
Well, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, the RN, well, the RN has to be there because the LPN is an LPN and an RN is an RN. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Saraceni?
I don't think I have any at this time.
Okay. Dr. Wright McMurray?
No, I don't have any at this time.
Okay. Mr. Davis?
None at this time.
Okay. Any questions not concerning waivers? Dr. Wright McMurray?
Not so much a question, but a comment, I guess. I greatly appreciate in this presentation the clear explanation of how CT instruction was going to be delivered, an identification of the academies that would be offered as well, and also appreciated the additional information in regards to outcomes for students, because that clearly explained to me where you're starting, where you got to through the process.
One presentation right after.
Yeah, so, no, but that was helpful. So just wanted to say that I appreciate you reiterating that and kind of clearing that up on the other end. And for those online as well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Ms. Saraceni?
I really don't have any
Okay.
comments other than thank you, and I appreciate, because I understood more in the second presentation than the first, but it was very thorough, and thank you.
Dr. Moore?
So once again, these may be things you clarified previously, but if you could provide a little more information. It mentioned that ELA performance would be one of your goals for 11th grade on the ACT, but it didn't reference math.
It was a clerical error. We've added it and made sure it was on the record, and it is now on this one as well.
Okay, great. And then similarly in the goals, it mentions student engagement, but not a quantifiable measure for student engagement. It gives the measure, but not a specific metric. It says it'll be.
I don't think we addressed that one specifically, how,
Okay, so it says student engagement, and it mentions it'll be by monitoring attendance, but it doesn't give any goal of whether, that could be 10% attendance or 99, so some quantifiable.
now's our opportunity to quantify that. Where would the solution be? Go ahead, someone online?
We couldn't hear the question at all on this end. It just came out very low.
Sure, so I was asking on your goals for student engagement, it says that it'll be measured by student attendance, but it doesn't list a specific number, like a percentage for that goal. So what is a reasonable goal there that you're seeking?
Did you guys hear that one?
Yeah, what's the goal?
Yeah, what's our goal?
We're saying let's just put it to bed right now. Give us a reasonable goal and.
Yeah, and one of the things that we do pride ourselves through, students can be engaged, but before that, students have to be in school. So I would say that threshold would be, 90% attendance or above.
Okay. It's pretty strong. Yeah.
Does that track with the current data you have for your other schools?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thought that you had one question about the meetings, the public meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
So I did have a question. So I noticed that for both the meetings in Fayetteville and Bentonville, it said due to inclement weather, no one attended either meeting. So I didn't know if the meetings were at the same time, different times. The time of the Bentonville meeting was stated as 4 p.m., but according to the weather in Bentonville that day, it didn't rain until after 6 p.m. So it was just odd that at neither place, no one attended. So
Sure.
any more information on
Yeah,
that?
we did outreach digitally, and we did, of course, the public notices in the newspaper. It was raining later on in the day, and so, but I don't know if that's necessarily exactly why. But we did not have anybody appear. But the intent of the applicants is to hold, of course, upon and hopefully receiving approval, to immediately strike up having more community meetings and having people on the ground to host events and attend events.
Okay, and it mentioned social media. How was it publicized on social media?
We did Google ads, so Google responsive ads.
And did those appear to have a reach? Were you seeing a reach with those?
They were not on for long enough. I think typically what we see is, at least 3 weeks is what you really need for these things to get traction. So we didn't really see much of a reach. And so I think that kind of proves that, to us at least, that what we really need to be doing is more grassroots on the ground.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Dr. Moore?
No, because my other question is about what do you mean by highly successful? But I think the presentation spoke to that, so that answered those questions. Thank you.
Mr. Davis?
Yes, first of all, thank you for this. Folks may not know, I kind of started, I was into my education journey at the point in which I got involved with doing some of this work in Northwest Arkansas, with the Northwest Arkansas Council, and trying to help business and schools come together to create career pathways for students. So this is something that I'm really interested in. Remind me again, we are looking at a K-12 institution, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. So I do have some questions, I guess, and I'd love to dive a little bit into kind of what I'm looking at in regards to the report card in Nevada. Right, it appears to me, and folks, folks who know me know, I'm really interested in growth. I'm really interested in closing the gap, so forth and so on. But it appears that in the school in Nevada, talk to me a little bit about. It appears that there has been some challenges around growth, particularly on the elementary side. When I look at the growth indicator. And then once again, when I look at the closing the gap indicator. Can we talk just a little bit about what's happening there based upon the information that's provided? I think it's the 2021, 2022 sort of report card around accountability. Can someone speak to that for me, please?
Yeah, and I think Alex Prieto and I will take this a little bit about that. We did have a change in leadership. Alex Prieto is the vice chair of Civica Nevada, and I'll let her talk to you a little bit about what the support that we have been providing this past year, last school year and this year at Civica Nevada. They are a 2-star school, but that doesn't mean you're going to be a 2-star school forever. 2 stars better than 1 star, and obviously our goal is to be a 5-star school there. But really the level that Ms. Prieto and I have been involved with Civica Nevada, I think has put us in the proper posture for student growth and student achievement based on the SBAC this school year. Alex, can you talk a little bit to that?
Yes, thank you. With Civica Nevada, we've have been assisting at the school now for, I believe, 3 years, right, Carlos? Yes, 3 years. We have, like most schools, have gone through having some difficulties finding teachers to be able to come in and stay.
So in Nevada, there's the ability to hire teachers with sub-certificates and different things like that, and what they're going through with their teachers and their teacher shortage has been something that we've been trying to assist with and be able to provide as much help that we can and support. But I believe that that would be, to your question, Mr. Davis, what I think would be the biggest struggle with Nevada, and in that area where Civica Nevada is located. We do have, this year we took a different proactive approach in teacher hiring and mostly in the timeline of when we started looking for teachers, seeing what was coming, what was to come as they grow, because now they are opening their 9th grade. We do have a 9th grade that we opened up with this school year. So making sure that we did do some teachers shuffling within the teachers that are with us, and then making sure that we were hiring proactively for those positions that became available.
And just to mention, Mr. Davis, so Civica does have an advisory board that we meet once a month, and it's a group of leaders that are educators. So it's a board member that's an educator, which is Ms. Prieto. It's myself in the capacity of the president, as well as another local board member that's an educator, that's a principal at Somerset. And then it's the principal and their administrative team. You know, last year we did not have any assistant principals or school support. It was pretty much the principal running the show. He was a first-year principal. Although we did provide as much as support and guidance as possible, he was understaffed. I think this year, Alex and I, in the capacity of the advisory board, supported him with the interview process to identify assistant principals. And we are happy to say that we identified 3 assistant principals along with the current principal to provide support to Civica Nevada. And there are ongoing currently monthly advisory board meetings, not to mention Civica Network quarterly principal meetings as well. Alex has a visit coming up now in September. So
actually this Monday, I will be there.
There you go, this Monday, and for a board meeting. So the conversations are there. It's a not yet circle, but we are working diligently to make sure that we can turn the course for the better and for student growth and achievement.
Yeah, and if I can add, Mr. Davis, your question brings to a real world example of when one of our schools that may not be next door has a challenge. We're on it and we stay with it until, I mean, they're not doing it on the phone. Alex is going there, and it is one of it's one of the secrets to our secret sauce. We're always trying to figure out what exactly it is. I think it is our support. So I hope that answered your question at least.
It does, and thank you for that. You're not finding the same issue in the Colorado location, are you?
No, definitely a different demographic.
Exactly.
We're talking about 100% free and reduced lunch. We're talking about 12 of the elementary neighboring schools are F and D schools. We're talking of a very at-risk population and a very high poverty area. So we weren't afraid to go there because we did want to be that beacon of light. We just knew that going into there, we had to roll up our sleeves and have all our soldiers lined up to make sure that we are that beacon of light for that community, because the traditional public schools were pretty much failing the kids. So it's a work in progress, but I trust in the leaders that I work with and the support team that we're gonna get that school where it's destined to be.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you making a commitment to those students and families. No other questions from me.
Thank you. All right, I believe Cassandra Barnett has a question.
Hi, Cassandra Barnett, DESE Program Advisor for School Libraries. I have a similar question to what I asked in the previous application, which was you have a plan to hire a school librarian, but you've waived all of the requirements for library services pretty much. So I would just like to know how you're planning on using your school librarian at this particular charter school.
Sure. The main job of the librarian will be to ensure that they are, that she is or he is implementing the library standards for Arkansas. As when we were reading about them, they're very important. As you had mentioned earlier in the Pinecrest evaluation, wonderful way that we would be able to use her is for her to be co-teaching those standards as well. But also the librarian is going to be working with all of the classrooms also to foster a love for reading. So whatever type of that program is going to look like, many of our schools use the accelerated reader. We're also going to be doing that. So definitely meeting, most definitely meeting the Arkansas library standards, implementing those, assisting our teachers to be able to implement those, and then also fostering a love for reading.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from the panel?
No.
Ms. Saraceni?
No.
Dr. Moore? Mr. Davis? Any further questions, Mr. Davis?
No further questions.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval of the application. A second.
All right. I've got a motion by Dr. Wright McMurray for approval, and I've got a second by Ms. Saraceni. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. All those opposed? We don't have anybody, so motion passes. So we're going to fill out our voting sheets, and we'll get back to you in just a second. We'll start with Mr. Davis.
Yes. I support the motion to approve the application in order to provide families in Arkansas an additional school model with career pathways tied to local community needs.
Dr. Moore?
I support the application for the school to open the 24-25 school year. These program offerings, including robust CTE pathways, will add to the existing rich learning opportunities in the region to prepare students for both college and career.
Ms. Saraceni?
I support the approval of this academy in Bentonville application to open in the 24-25 school year. I'm looking forward to seeing the opportunities afforded to the students in Arkansas.
Dr. Wright McMurray?
I voted for. I support Bentonville's application to open academic year 2025. I'm excited to see their strong focus on college and career readiness. I look forward to the opportunities Arkansas students will receive from this new charter school option.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is there any new business?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Been here so long today.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. We're adjourned.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Recording stopped.